Good afternoon. Once again, day 4, Sport Integrity Week. Ben Jacobs with you throughout the evening session. At the moment, we're 6 o'clock CET, 5 o'clock GMT, 12 o'clock Eastern Time with an audience all around the world. Thanks for engaging with us. Use that hashtag on social media, SIW. Ask lots of questions via the app as well. And do donate to Siga if you can and have the financial means during these difficult times. The QR code will be coming up periodically on my screen and via the social handles as well. You can see the URL if you're a bit more old school and you're not as tech savvy. So please do engage, get involved. And as I say, if you can, donate as well. Now, coming up at 9 o'clock CET, that's 8 GMT. So in 3 hours' time, we've got a panel that focuses on Brazil. But before that, we've got a very special presentation and interview to bring you, and it evolves around India on Track, who we heard from to kick off the day. They're a firm supporter of Siga. They powered our opening session, that was integrity and the emerging sports market, and they were also involved as well in the second panel of the day, maintaining integrity through sports technology as well. And remember, technology is the theme of the day, but the point of this week is not just words, but actions as well. And I'm delighted to say that we will have a live signing, a memorandum of agreement between Siga and our firm partners in India on Track. And to tell you more, I can now introduce once again Siga's CEO, Emmanuel, and he will give you all of the details and then bring in some very special guests. And please, if you're watching as well, because this is a live signing, it is action, not just words. Make sure that you follow it on social, take snapshots, retweet, quote, and so on, so we can make a really big deal of what is, as ever, a very special signing that is about to take place. So now, Emmanuel, I hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Ben, and how delighted I am to host my dear friend Vivek, the founder and CEO of India on Track, and to put ink on pen and formalize our intentions to unite forces so that we can bring the highest governance and integrity standards to the sporting industry in India. No doubt, an amazing football nation, growing economy, clearly more than an emerging superpower in many fields, but also in sport. We have been witnessing the fast-paced, accelerated development in India, with technology booming, with consumer, with fan engagement, with technology, with innovation. So it's really a hub of fast paced advancement, and obviously this comes also with the necessity to ensure that as far as sport is concerned, integrity is at the top. For that, Vivek, I would like to thank you and all your team for the key role that you are about to play, joining forces with Siga, becoming one of our members and being at the forefront of this global movement that we are very proud and very committed to spearhead, together with global organizations from different sectors of the industry, from governments, international organizations, global sponsors, broadcasters. In a word, the whole sport coming together to be at the podium.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. It's an absolute honor for us to partner with Siga. Siga definitely sets up the global standards when it comes to integrity. As you obviously are well aware, India is a developing nation when it comes to sports. About 10 to 12 years ago, the sports industry was a very small sector, and with the inception of the Indian Premier League and various different professional sports leagues over the last decade or so, India's sports industry is growing, and the next couple of decades is going to be very high growth. So it is going to be critical that integrity becomes an absolute essential part of this growth. In fact, integrity is going to lead this growth, one of the key pillars to lead this growth. And as our country evolves, in the sports ecosystem in our country evolves, and the industry evolves, integrity has to play a leading role. And without that, I think we will falter. And it's an absolute honor, like I said, for not only just India on track, but India as a whole, to have a player like Siga looking at India and looking at the developing markets and looking at building the Indian market. So we look forward to the inputs that you bring in, that the experts on your panel bring in, that your partners bring in, the global standards that you set, and how can we replicate and of course individualize those standards and make them as best practices in the Indian industry. So really thank you very much for this support.
It's our pleasure and our mission, because as you know, when Siga was founded was with the intent to bring global leadership where there was little or none, in a period of tremendous unprecedented crisis, with reputation in sport at its knees and its good name being dragged through the mud because of many scandals. But we do not look back, we look forward, and it's forward that we want to walk hand in hand with India on track, to keep on track the progress across the sporting industry. And obviously, when we look at India, we see this very dynamic evolution of things, despite the threat that COVID-19 is posing to humankind and all sectors, including sport. But I think it's fair to say that a mature, a very young country with a track record of achievements on technology, of innovation, with record figures as far as internet users are concerned, with over 600 million. That is quite a feat, huh? That's huge in the global scale. The users of smartphones and mobile technology being the second market in the world, surpassing even the United States. That obviously forces us to look into India, and with India also to enhance the standards, as I said a while ago, and tackle the real priorities. As you know, we respect the culture, we respect the different specificities of all the countries with whom we work, but there are a few priorities that we want to tackle, and together we will make this possible. In regards to the legislation and the regulatory framework related to sport, this morning was a very, very interesting high-level webinar discussion, which you moderated very competently. And that forces us to look into good governance, financial integrity, sports betting integrity, youth development, and child protection, which are, by the way, the 4 core areas of Siga. I think also what this amazing, booming appetite to consume sports content and entertainment requires is clean sport, first and foremost. Absolutely. And that implies the adoption and implementation of our universal standards. We know that you and other influential organizations and partners in India will do the heavy lifting with us, but also the implementation of independent, rigorous, objective rating system, so that the consumers, the brands, the governments, they know with certainty that the organizations are walking the talk and are delivering what they promise. I was even giving the example, we don't go into an airplane that we do not know that has all the safety checks, and in terms of its integrity is incorruptible. We do not take a lift or an elevator without knowing that there is someone that has checked that all standards have been implemented and respected. Now, the same has to happen to sport, because sport is much more than a game, much more than a passion. It's a global industry, and in the transition to the 4th to the 5th industrial revolution, values must be taken into account with integrity at the top. So for joining forces with us, we thank you. And because
you make 2 very critical points.
Sure.
Sorry. No. Please go ahead.
Please.
Sorry.
No, take the floor.
So you obviously make the point about a young and vibrant India,
Yes.
and that is absolutely true. You can feel it in the streets. Of course, 60% of the Indian population is below the age of 30, and that brings a lot of opportunity, lot of youth, lot of energy into the country, and lots of opportunity for the sports industry. But that also brings in the challenges and the risks of having young players who are not prepared properly to get sidelined, to go into bad practices. And hence, the whole aspect of education to get the sport clean is going to play a critical factor as these young youth of India becomes older, whether they are players, whether they are managers, whether they are administrators, or in any way, associated with the sporting or the entertainment industry largely. And the second thing, which we also discussed in the panel earlier today, was the fact that the ecosystem is fairly broken right now, and we need a lot of support at different levels to integrate the ecosystem. So both the fact that the ecosystem is broken and the fact that the population is young poses a challenge today. But
Yeah.
the great thing that you have probably experienced so far, and you'll continue to experience about India, is that we are very fast learners. So we don't, if the best practices in the world have been established by doing 30, 40, 50 years of work, we would hopefully not need that same kind of time to adapt those practices. So when Siga puts in the work here with all the local partners, you will realize that we'll adapt quickly, we'll work fast, and the ecosystem will actually start making changes. Everyone is committed to making sport clean, and that's what we strive for. Like, we want to join your vision and to clean this and to support the cleaning of the sport in India.
Those are absolutely fantastic words that reward all the sacrifices that we have done to get here. But we haven't done these sacrifices just to get here. This is just a stepping stone to take the mission, to take the vision to all continents, all territories, all countries. And what an exciting journey has been this Sport Integrity Week, in which the youngsters, you mentioned the figures about the Indian population below 30. Around the world, it's 50.5. So this young population, these youngsters who love sport but want to see it played by the rules,
Yes.
by the true leaders and champions that they try to emulate, their idols, our generation has the undeclinable responsibility and duty to do what it takes. And if others don't do, let us then take the charge and deliver. And today, in this Sport Integrity Week, we have kicked off a process of globalization, a global movement, in which the young people are right at the front, spearheading this new culture change, meaningful, positive culture change, and I think we can do it. I'm very confident about that, and I would like to thank everyone for the remarkable strength, motivation, and support that they are doing, and also the heavy lifting that is required.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Really, thanks for the kind words, and we look forward to working together. And thanks again for the support and bringing your expertise to India. And we genuinely believe that this can be an absolute amazing partnership, and we can change the landscape of the sporting industry in India. Thank you very much.
And with those words, I would like also to thank all those who have made this possible, because behind what we do, there is a huge machinery, and I know that your team, as well as mine, has been working relentlessly, without a rest, without sleeping, so that we can provide and offer to the world this unique opportunity. So let's continue our discussions, let's roll up our sleeves, and next time I will visit you in Delhi, hopefully sooner rather than later, because that would be great for all of us as well.
Absolutely.
Thank
Very
you.
much, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.